Okay, so I don't know if you'll be able to follow along if you don't know what's going on in these tables. So maybe go back and watch those other videos first. But if you can follow along, it's not that complicated. I mean, all right, so you got these FEs, okay, FEs, and FEs are going to combine with, either Ni, Se, Si, or Se, right? They're going to combine with one of them, and they're gonna produce something, right? They're kind of, and the FEs, what they're doing is they're holding on to this public consciousness, okay? And that's what they're passing around. They're passing around this public consciousness, and the public consciousness is going to be in the feeling realm, right? And what they're going to try to do, especially here on the FNs, right? Here especially, well, the ones that are judging, um, they're going to be they're going to be trying to protect the feelings of all of the FIs out there in the world, right? They're going to be fighting in order to protect their feelings, right? So anytime an FI is offended, they'll be like, "Oh, I'm sorry, who offended you?" And if like there's a group of FIs being offended or something like that, so that's these warriors here. It's like a social consciousness of warriors that are out there trying to protect the FIs. Okay. Now the FIs might disagree with it. Some of them might disagree, and for good reason, right? They might feel that they're being too abusive or something like that, or I don't know. Like obviously you have to hurt somebody if you're going to save someone else. I don't know, like whatever. Anyway, so this is a public consciousness here, and then there's another public consciousness here, which is like all of the TEs. Now TEs are people who hold the public thought in consciousness, okay, and they're able to think as an entity, as a single entity, right? They get together and they agree and they try to find consensus among each other, right? So that's all the TEs. They're trying to find consensus and agree on certain things. Now humans are really fragmented people, right? So it's not all the TEs across the board, but it's whoever's part of this public consciousness, right? So you could have a company or a military or something like this with a bunch of TEs and a pub and whoever's in the room, whoever's enclosed in that group, whoever's a part of that group, right? So the group can grow if more and more people share the TE's views, right? So um, so that's what TE is going around. And you're going to have mediators, and people are going to be arguing in the TE domain, right? This is where you're going to have all your debates and things like that. And TEs are also gonna gonna try to consolidate opinion, okay? But what they don't understand is the TIs, who are friends with the FEs, like they're on the same card as the FEs, and the FEs are really going to destroy all of this independent thought, and if they end up protecting this. And same here, they're going to end up destroying all of these independent thought, and in some way also probably eventually people who feel they need justice work. I don't know, whatever. Anyways, so they're also going to destroy independent thought, because what are they going to do? They're going to join together and they're going to say, no, if you don't agree with us, you're wrong, right? And it's like, well, that's not logical. It's not, just because y'all agree, it doesn't mean you're right. Agreement and being right are two completely different things, right? So so TIs are going to be like, no, independent thought, man. Like you can't destroy that. That's where it's at. Like I'll make my own decisions. I'll come to my own conclusions, and then I'll present them to you when they're ready. Right? That's what these TIs are saying. And if I don't have anything valuable to present, then I won't do it. And how am I going to present it? This is the problem with TIs. How are they going to present it? They're going to present it through their FE, right? And FEs and TEs naturally don't really get along that well, because they have different ideas of what the public consciousness is. Okay, and some of them might get along because of their value for consensus and things. And I mean, I'm making it a little more extreme. In the end, we all have to go and sit down at a Thanksgiving dinner, or whatever holiday you celebrate from wherever you're from, right? So I mean, so I mean, it's not like it's not an aggressive war, but it's a social war. It's a cultural war. It's a war that's going on between, and unless it's not like someone's going to win. There's always going to be PTs, TEs. There's always going to be FEs. There's always going to be FIs. There's always going to be TIs. Like no one, if you destroy all the FEs, then all the TIs are gone, right? If you destroy all the TIs, then all the FEs are gone. Like that's the way it works. Like they're on the same coin. So like I'm just over exaggerating. Obviously, that would never happen. But I mean, still, like the idea is this war is happening, and it's a war of the public consciousness. For the public consciousness to exist, it needs this war to happen. Like this war is trying to get truth into the public consciousness, right? That's what the war is trying to do, right? all of these individual people are trying to have their voices heard. And the problem is, if you have like this really cool idea, or you've discovered something like that's really important to you, okay, and you want to try to transmit it, it's going to be a little hard. It's going to be a little hard because up here they only respect each other. They're not going to respect you down here if you don't know how to talk, or if you don't know how to come out and communicate to them, right? And then at the same time, some of their messages are pretty crazy. Like there's some of them are saying there's no thought, or some of them are saying there's no identity, there's no me, right? There's no you. All right. Maybe you don't know who you are. Maybe you looked in the mirror, you looked to your soul, and you got so scared you ran away. But the people who are down here, they're like, yeah, we exist, man. Like, come on, don't say that we don't exist. We exist. We have a right to exist. Independent thought and independent feeling and independent values have a right to exist. Don't try to destroy us with your stupid philosophy from your no minds land. Like this is the land where people just have no brains. Like that. I'm not sorry. That's a little harsh. You guys have brains. That's mean. FEs, you guys have TIs, and TEs, you guys are smart. You guys can figure stuff out as long as you come to a consensus about it. Like that's what you're programmed to do. So I mean, yeah, I didn't mean to ostracize anyone or put anyone like that's my FE coming out and trying to be all apologetic. These guys aren't getting offended. Oh, they are because they've got FIs. All right, I'll stop right now. Yeah, that I agree that the war is good. It's not a war where there's going to be casualties. I sort of joked about it before, but it's a war where we're evolving, when we're developing as a people in the world, right? And I think that's kind of cool. It's just we have to have a way to get these ideas out to here and these values out to here, right? That's really what's trying to happen. These values are trying to go into the public consciousness, and these thoughts are trying to get into the public consciousness. And like any one TE isn't going to feel like he's anything, right? Any one FE is not going to really do much. Like they're going to argue and they're going to transmit. They're going to be a transmitter, basically. They're a node, and anyone who comes into contact with them is going to judge them and see what their public message is, right? And so this node is going to keep passing on information and passing on this public consciousness around. Like that's what's going to happen, right? And it's even more exponentiated now with the social media, where people are joining groups, and FEs have groups where like this is our message, this is what's important to us, we're going to fight for this, right? That's what these FEs, and they've got, and TEs are also, they're going to be like, okay, well we have this atheist domain, and we have this anti-evolution domain, and all this stuff, right? This is all TE stuff, right? A TI would never be like, okay, I'm going to go join and be all gung-ho for like, I guess they would, I don't know, whatever. If it's really important to them and to their identity. I shouldn't have gone there. Anyway, yeah, I just wanted to. The main point was not getting into this whole thing, but more getting into how the public consciousness can exist, and this is what it is. It's just really crazy once you finally realize it. Anyways, have a good one. Bye.